Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, and hope you're having a fantastic day, fantastic weekend. And this is a Sunday evening live stream. Today we're going to be going in none other than X-Plane 12's default Cessna Citation 10, or the Cessna Citation X, doing a short flight from the north of France, from Rouen in Normandy, across to Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport. Now, I'm not too good at the aircraft in terms of its systems. I'm not as versed in them as say the 737, but hopefully today's flight will be good. I have practiced a little bit and I've managed to succeed. As you can see, I'm outside now and it looks absolutely fantastic. Very impressed with the aircraft. I think today's flight will be good. In a nutshell, it's a good default aircraft. There's not really any need to download add-ons for it. It's already pretty well modelled. Its systems work decently. It's missing a few things. It's missing the IRS, but that's not too much of a problem. If we look outside, well, if we look at the exterior of the aircraft now, and if there are any audio issues at all, let me know. Yeah, so looking at the outside of the aircraft, you'll notice that there's quite a good detail on the aircraft wings and the tail, etc., etc. Just gonna have a quick walk around. The engines look fantastic. The actual aircraft looks brilliant in the sunshine. As you can see, the aircraft's, yeah, all functional. I have got the controller connected, but of course hydraulics and things are switched off, so we won't have control of the surfaces just yet. Now on this, you can see the APU at the back. It does have an APU on it, but it doesn't. I have never seen anything coming out of this rear exhaust here, so we'll have to see what happens today. This is a very fast and light aircraft, so it's very different to propeller aircraft, of course. If you are used to a gas turbine engine aircraft, you've probably flown the airliners, but this is, due to the fact that it's lighter, going to be a bit more difficult to control, a lot different than what you would usually expect. So, got the door open. We're going to hop into the private jet. This is a private VIP chartered flight. I've already got some of the views set up. As you can see, I've got the cockpit views set up. I have got, these are the throttle view and exterior, and I have a cabin view set up as well from one of the passenger seats. I have to say they've done a really good job of modelling this. It looks very nice indeed. And just while I'm at it, actually, apologies, I was expecting to do this stream earlier today, but I had some issues and wanted to make sure I was ready to hop in the aircraft, because it can be a bit of a challenge. Not a challenger, but a challenge. So yeah, quite happy with the interior. It looks very nice. This is not quite, I don't think it's as good as an Embraer that can pay add-on, but for a default aircraft it's very good. You've got 10 seats there in the back. So I'm going to hop back in the cockpit now. I did do a bit of research on the startup. I looked at some videos online. You can in fact go onto the X-Plane official channel, X-Plane 12, and view the startup procedure and things from Laminar Research Devs or something like that. It's very useful. It gives you startup, and of course other YouTubers will give you videos on that, and then of course you can watch real aircraft starting up. So from what I've seen, it's fairly simple to understand. At first it's a bit complicated because switches and things are in the wrong side. So on our side we have, of course, we have some light switches, we have some fuel control, battery powers, avionics, radios, of course, but then the majority of the engine stuff is actually on the right side of the aircraft where the co-pilot is. So you got your anti-ice, hydraulics, pressurization, APU, and things like that. So we're going to go ahead and start up. If you are joining me now, welcome in. I'm Grantham. I stream 3 times a week, either in an airliner around Europe, and then a couple of days a week I might do a propeller aircraft, and today on Sunday is kind of a special stream, doing a jet turbine jet. Yeah, and also go back to the beginning if you want to see the start procedure. So we're going to stick the standby power. We should really test that, so let's stick standby power on. Let's go ahead and stick the emergency lights to on as well, and then batteries 1 and 2 can come on, and so can the avionics. So apparently we're supposed to monitor the avionics, the ICAS systems, fuel and hydraulics. Monitor the fuel, and on this one, let's monitor the electrical. So you can see there we've got battery is 38 degrees and producing 28 volts per battery there, so that's pretty good. We can put the fuel flow norm. Do this in preparation for the APU. Okay, go over here to the APU and start master switch on and start the APU up. Hold it for a few seconds and then it should start up. I've flown the Cessna Citation 2 before and that didn't have an APU. It was actually slightly better layout. It's not a bad layout this, but it's not it doesn't feel very convenient. The heading bugs and things are down here to change, the autopilot's up here. And it doesn't really seem intuitive, the layout. Okay, so that's on. We're ready to load, so we're going to stick the generator on. It means we can load up our aircraft with APU power. And we're waiting for, well, we should stick that on. Open the valve. Engine bleed head is down there, so we're going to leave that on for a second. We're going to stick our nav lights on and strobes to steady, or our beacons to steady, sorry. You see there, our navigation lights and beacons illuminated. Let's go ahead and close that door as well. There we go. Welcome aboard. First VIP flight of the channel. Fuel boost, so we can stick these on norm. Of course, you got your generators and other things there, so we can stick those on now. I think pitot heat, window, air. I haven't checked the temperatures, but check that on the map. We are at Rouen in the north of France. Usually you just zoom in on the map, click it, details, and it will give you the QNH, so 1022. Now on this aircraft you have three choices. You've got this little dial here, you've got two primary flight displays as well. 1022, and if you're ever unsure, remember the little map icon, click there onto the airport. Make sure you zoom in enough. I'm not zoomed in, so it won't work. And then it'll give you the QNH. Don't forget, you can get it from there instead of the radio. So we changed it on this little thing up here, the little dial. We'll go down here and change it as well. So there's three times we've got to change the barometric pressure. 1022. Okay, so the APU's been on a while. We're going to go ahead and start the engine. Actually, let's go ahead and stick the standby power off. Emergency lights are armed. Now, I've got to remember if I'm doing this right. Ignition, there we go. Ignition is on. Left engine starting. And be sure, because these are always in the cut-off position, be sure you've taken them off cut-off in order to actually turn the engines on. Now, usually in a real aircraft you would have, in the Citation 10 you would have the IRS alignment down here, but of course it's not modelled in X-Plane 12. Okay, so first engine is good. Start the right one. I'm doing it quite quick because it's the same. I haven't experienced any issues doing it like this before. Let me go back over here. I'm going to stick these onto low for bleed air. Cab packs on. You can see there, we can see the different temperatures. Cockpit 14. Crank the volume up slightly. The temperature. Right, so we got differential cabin pressure there. Cabin altitudes. You can set, because it's a pressurized aircraft, you can set the altitude. So we're not going high today. We're only going about 10,000 feet, I think. It's a very short flight from Rouen to Paris. Okay, so the engines are on. That means we check this little monitor down here. So electric's good. Reducing electric. Let's go back to normal display. Hydraulics, electric, APU, engine. Go back onto there. And we can start to do the FMC in a sec. Just double check all the systems. I want to turn that APU off as well. So keep an eye on the temperature, but we don't want to be too hot or too cold. There on, you can turn the APU off, generator off, and stop that. You don't want to keep the APU on during flight. Okay, now I read something about the auxiliary pump. Gonna leave that on for a second. Charge up the hydraulics. Like you see there, hydraulic pressure is good. Okay, so position initialization is next. APU is still closing, is still shutting down, so we're going to turn the master off. We'll consider that close. I think that's it in terms of the startup. There's not much to it. The light panel is over here along with the hydraulics, so you wouldn't expect it to be there. You expect it to be slightly more central, but down here on the central one we do have taxi and landing lights. We're having a test panel. Of course you can test all the things. We're not going to do too much of that. Landing gear, fire warning, thrust reversers, flaps, windshield temp, overspeed, angle attack for a stall, and enunciation. If you leave it on enunciation, it'll keep going through the warnings.
Light slow. Pull up.
As you can hear there.
Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind
Very,
shear.
very useful. I've never had a wind shear warning.
Terrain. Pull up.
Despite thinking I've encountered it many times on this game. Awesome, it is nice to be doing a VIP flight today on a Sunday, very good. Okay, so FMC, everyone knows, if you're used to a flight sim, you'll know the FMC, but most aircraft, if you have an FMC, it'll be down in the central console area. Position initialization will load GPS 1. Now, slightly different to a normal FMC, but you'll just have to watch when I do. I won't talk through it too much. So we'll go and put our destination, LF, clear that, LF. So France, Paris, Charles de Gaulle is destination. You have to click next page. So we want our cruising altitude 10,000. Fuel. So you'll be able to double click and enter those details in a second when we've done our flight plan. Via to, somebody said you should put the destination there as well. If we do that, it's kind of a pain, so we go back, let's do departure. Let's double check the runway. Okay, so as you can see down here, VFR arrivals 4 and departures 4 as well, so let's depart from runway 4. Let's do a standard instrument departure, activate that. You see it's put it into the FMC. Go on navigation. Now you can't change it just yet, so bear with me. I have to remember how I've done this. It's a little bit tricky. Performance. We can't put that in. Gross weight, can't do that. Can't remember how I did it. Navigation, we'll try and do. Well, there's your radio to tune via less. Your actual radios are down here, so and so is your transponder. So you can see you can turn that on and turn this little dial to activate it. Let's go ahead and turn it on now. Navigation 1 of course is ILS frequency, COM 1 is radios, and then Copilot has one as well. ADF is for NDB approaches. Okay, activate. Should be able to do a performance initialization. transition altitude. We should really listen to the ATC, so let's go ahead and listen to the ATS. That might help give us the transition altitude. Of course, go down to the radio, it's 120. Decimal 73.
Rouen Valley de la Seine information Gaulle 1650 Zulu. Arriving runways 0405. Departing runways 0405. Wind 310
Wait for that
degrees
transition
12
altitude.
knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. Sky clear. Temperature 11. Dew point 5. QNH 1022. Transition level flight level 060.
Okay,
Advise on
so
initial contact you
6,000
have.
feet.
Information Gaulle.
Transition 6,000 feet. Oops.
Rouen Valley de la Seine information Gaulle 1650 Zulu.
There we go.
Arriving runways
That means we can go to
0405. Departing runways 0405. Wind
10,000
310
there.
degrees 12 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. Sky clear. Temperature 11. Dew point 5. QNH 1022. Transition level flight level 060. Advise on initial contact you have. Information Gaulle.
Performance data. Okay, now we listen to the ATS. Can turn that off for a moment. So we got performance data. We want to make sure the aircraft has it in. Maybe we're not done the flight plan. I should have took notes on how I did this. Usually can double click it. I can't remember how to trigger this section to actually work. I know you have to do the landing and things, take off. There we go. Let's try it now. We confirmed our flaps 5 for takeoff. Climb. Cruise. 10,000 feet. Can't enter that yet. Descent. Landing. So it's giving us 131 reference speed. Let's see if it works now. So next. No, not yet. If you are new here and you want to know if you know what to do, and you know certainly what to do, even though I watched the video, it'd be good to hear your thoughts on it, whether you like it or not. Let's confirm that again. Doesn't want to do it. I've put the destination as well. It's a little bit annoying. It's not as intuitive as the 737, believe it or not. Okay, so I can't seem to find it on here. I'm clicking on landing. I keep doing the same thing, landing, and there's no approach button on there as I expected there to be. Keep clicking on this. There's nothing there popping up on it. Runway LFPG is nothing there for it, unfortunately. Let's try arrival. No, nothing there either. So that's what I did last night. I actually had more success when I was in the air of programming the arrival. I don't know if this is my mistake. I might skip it for now and then take off when we're in the air. Although to be fair, we should be able to do the weight and things immediately. Arrival, nothing happens. Flight plan, we are programmed to LFPG, Charles de Gaulle Airport. Let's try that as well. Okay, there we go. So we had to click LFPG into the via point. That's a little bit confusing. Unable cruise altitude. Confirm. Level 100, that's 10,000 feet. Perhaps we can do 12,000 feet. Unable cruise altitude. That's a pain, isn't it? Let's do 22,000. See if that'll work. Unable cruise altitude. Unbelievable. $8,000. So if it says unable, it should give you a recommendation then for what we can cruise at, because there's nothing there to suggest we can't cruise at that altitude. Cruise. Well, if you are new here, welcome in. Hope you're enjoying the struggle in the Citation X to get the FMC to work. Anyway, back to navigation. We got arrival, a runway. Just go and select any runway. 8 left. Activate. Just fill in the gaps on the FMC. See the Bannock's arrival there. Very familiar one if you are used to Charles de Gaulle Airport. Okay, let's just leave that as is. Performance. We'll ignore the cruise warning. We're just going to go up to 8,000 feet. So now that's programmed in. You can go up here and select FMS or navigation. FMS for the flight management system, and the navigation on the autopilot as well. So that should allow us to activate autopilot on departure, and then altitude or VNAV. Depends what your preference is. VNAV won't select because there's unable on VNAV because of the cruise altitude probably. Performance. Let's try the cruise thing one more time and see if we can alter the height on its initial cruise altitude. 5,000 feet. Okay, so we'll do 5,000 feet. Seems to be working as the altitude. If we select VNAV, it's highlighted for us. Okay, that's us ready to depart. I think we're just about programmed in the FMC after about 20 minutes. Apologies about that. Hoping it would go a bit smoother, so we can get our engines ready to take off. We can put 5 degrees of flaps in. I'm going to stick the taxi lights on and request some taxi permission to hopefully is filed. I'll have to skip it and yeah, let's just skip it. It might be worth doing on VATSIM. It is a VIP flight, so we can just assume that people will we have control of our airspace. Rouen Airport, of course. There's no flight director on this. You have to turn on the autopilot buttons. There's no FD. That you can put it in standby, but there's no FD button available. Okay, your damper should come on. So it says no takeoff down there. So what we can do is turn the brakes off and put them back on again. Flaps are set. So trim has come up. Let's trim it into the green. As long as you program the FMC, the trim will can be trimmed to the recommended amount. We almost had some issues there with it, but we're all good. So let's get going. 04 left or 04 departure, and then 08 left on arrival. As mentioned, very fast aircraft. You're going to want to trim that nose down quite a lot, and we're going to be taking off and going fast and climbing rapidly to 5,000 feet, which means a lot of action in a short amount of time. See a straight out departure there for the Cessna Citation. Automatic oxygen for the passengers. Clear left, looking very nice this evening. Clear right. Big cockpit space as well. There's a lot of space in this cockpit. The cabins are open to the cockpit, and the cockpit itself is very well made and modelled. It looks like the sort of cockpit that I'd love to fly in real life. Let's double check our engines, ignition, fuel boosts. Everything's on normal. So there's runway 22. You check the map. Obviously runway 4 is at the end. We're going to have to do a bit of a backtrack to make sure we have enough takeoff space. Make sure the FMS is selected as I've said, and you can change this. This will be for the ILS approach. When you want to do the ILS, I'll talk about it closer, but you will have to switch to navigation and make sure it's programmed in correctly. At the moment I've got a custom view on and the view is quite far back and it's giving me a big field of view. I hope that's correct saying. Because you can see like 99% of what's in the cockpit from this angle. The essential instruments, that is. Okay, it's fairly traffic free at the moment. There's the option to turn AI traffic on. I had a practice last night in Nice at night. If you zoom in slightly at night, it makes it easier to see the instruments. Lovely. I just love that interior cabin though. Look at how rich it looks. There's no seat belts. There's no claustrophobia in there. It's quite a spacious cabin. Some nice air conditioning and emergency exits, of course, like standard aircraft would have. Commercial aircraft, that is. Okay, double check the systems. So the weather radar is pretty much automatic in this. The TCAS system isn't, so we can double check our FMS on the map as well. Quite the convoluted route on there. Bedbacks. Hopefully that follows it correctly. Suspect there's something going wrong with the autopilot, so let's just change it again. So we go around this, around. I'll open the lines are connected properly, but that's the approach there for from Suburbs to. We shouldn't be going that far, so we want it to change. Don't need to go to Suburbs. We just go straight to number 08. That's Mr. Approach, of course. Nice speedy taxi down the runway. Just thinking we might be able to take off slightly short because this has a very low V1 speed. If we go on to performance, we can of course check the takeoff data on there. Make sure we're not going to overspeed as well. So confirm that. Performance takeoff. It will put it on the airspeed indicator for us. Should be a way to see it on the FMC though, so performance data. So that's giving us our information. So yeah, you can't see it just as I expected to. I'll have to practice some more on this aircraft. I'm not used to it at all. Okay, clear left, clear right. Don't need to look for too long because I know there's no other aircraft on X-Plane 12 unless you choose to put the AI aircraft on, or VATSIM of course. Any online ATC service. No doubt this would be a pleasure to fly with somebody else as well. Let me know if you enjoy this aircraft. I have to say, one of the better models of aircraft on the game. Just absolutely brilliant. We are backtracking slightly and then we'll make a U-turn for departure. Very, very quiet in the cockpit. It's definitely a lot more quiet than the 737 or even of course, a propeller aircraft. Very, very well made. It's good visibility, not as good as you would expect. Again, the open cockpit, not too much of an issue. It's a private aircraft. You wouldn't have these flying. It would usually be flown by the owners, and you know, they'd ride in the back and things, and they'd have their own private pilot, so it'd be a corporation. That's why there's no door on there, or even a pilot who owns the aircraft. Okay, we'll go ahead and make a turn. We have done quite a long taxi. Just make sure we have enough space, because Rouen in north of France does have quite a small runway. Going to advance those throttles. We've got the autopilot ready. We're going up to, just to check, 5,000 feet that should be. The altitude select is down here. It's not the most convenient way to change it, I'm not going to lie. And that should follow vertical navigation. To keep that rudder in. It's a very, very light plane, so it'll go all over the place. That's 80 knots. Nice solid rotation. Just about. Positive rate climb, gear up. Now the F1, the speeds haven't actually appeared that I was expecting. Make sure we have climb thrust in. I was expecting some V1 speeds. As you can see, acceleration is very, very rapid in this aircraft. exhaust flaps retract as well. And other lights on, strobe lights and nav and beacon. So we're going to pitch for about 200 knots at the moment. Just maintaining the FMC's recommended 200 knots. Of course going up to 5,000 feet. You can see there, so it's saying 250. Should probably be slightly slower than that. Say the aircraft is handling actually quite well compared to last night. Struggled to maintain control at some point. Go ahead and reduce that thrust now. Reduce it down to about 60. 5. And unlike an airliner, there is no auto throttling here. I haven't found one. It's unlikely to ever have one, I think. Not quite as in depth in terms of its automation. Okay, we're nice and leveled off at 5,000. So I'm going to go ahead and select the autopilot. Hopefully this follows the route nice and smoothly. As you can see, it's following it perfectly. Should take us to Post Charles de Gaulle Airport. I'm going to go ahead and skip to Caliv. Direct. Slight break there in the flight plan from Mopar. Runway 08. So let's go ahead and switch Mopar for the runway switch without the runway, so we go straight there. That should take us on to final. Like I say, a very small flight. It'll only take a matter of 10 or 15 minutes at the most. Luxury, absolute luxury, VIP flights. North of France, Normandy, Rouen. Maintaining a good 60 plus frames, which is nice. The GPU is not too stressed. Not using as much as I'd expect lately either. I think that's down to being in a less dense area in terms of scenery. So when we get to Charles de Gaulle, we should be able to see whether it's going to stand up to the performance or not. Computer and autopilot are doing a very surprising job of maintaining the navigation, lateral and vertical navigations. Checking the performance for descent and landing. So 08 left LFPG Charles de Gaulle is saying wind is 324 at 10 knots, 15 degrees outside. Don't really need the anti-ice on or even window heat for that matter. Of course, cabin interior temperature is about 25 degrees now. Very, very good, so it's warmed up. And this should be closed. We should have a good amount of airflow coming in for the air conditioner. Not too high up, so we don't have to worry about pressurization too much. Of course, there we have our pressurization difference for the cabin and cabin altitude as well. Some of the features don't work. These don't work on the side. These switches here do, but then these ones don't. So mic select, oxygen mask doesn't work, event marker. Still a lot of interactivity. It's still a very interactive aircraft. So I'm hoping from this it's going to go straight to runway 08. We're pretty much nearly there. I mean, the runway at the airport is barely less than 30 nautical miles away, even less than that. So let's see, after collive, is it going to go to runway 08 or not? So landing speed is VREF, and usually we'd add some speed onto that, so maybe about 135 is landing speed. Okay, 30 nautical miles, we can start to prepare a landing already. So we go on map, we want to make sure we have a ILS frequency, see our departure route along the map. And then Charles de Gaulle is barely that far away, so 08 left. IFR low en route will give you the option to find it, so 108.7. I'm going to show you how to enter that into the navigation radio. Go down here to the central console and navigation, so just for your reference, 108.7, you would click this and then change it to this dial. Make sure you click that after so it changes to the active navigation frequency, otherwise you're going to land or won't find it engages when you come to land. When you do come to land, you need to switch this from the FMS, of course, to navigation, and that will switch to this frequency down here. Otherwise, you won't follow the correct path. I kind of feel like we're not following the correct path at the moment. Yeah, it should be banking to the right. Let's go ahead and just change that manually. Heading select instead. Have it turn. So we can line up with that ILS. Good evening, finders. Yeah, we're doing a VIP flight from Rouen, it's a very small airport in the north of France, into Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport. Very, very good airport, absolutely massive, as you know. So if you're ever unsure, you look down here, so CF08 left for the runway is 17.8 nautical miles away. We're just about 248 knots, so a good speed for the moment. We'll descend down to 2,000 when we're a bit closer. So 5,000 feet for now. And then we descend down to the ILS. I'm hoping we can line up with the route again and get back onto navigation with the navigation switch. Heading bugs down here, and you can set your course as well. Let's go ahead and set, if we can, set the course. So I can't see much changing on that. I'm going to say set it for 08 for the runway. The aircraft only has, so as you can see, slats and then 5 degrees flaps, 15 and 30 degrees is the absolute maximum it can do. If you are new here, aside from the regular European flights Monday, Wednesday and Friday, we're doing these irregular propeller and now private citation flights, and I will be doing a special flight, a long special stream flight next Friday, so strap in for that. I've got a few streams planned for the upcoming week, just check what they are on my channel, but we should be going to London Heathrow on Monday, I believe, or Tuesday or Wednesday, depends, because I'm streaming today, I might not stream tomorrow. So according to the schedule, we have got London, Amsterdam to London Heathrow I think we'll do the Amsterdam to London Heathrow on Wednesday, and then I'll do that special long flight on Friday. So Friday, extra long flight, it'll probably be a couple of hours. Looking forward to it. Yeah, Binders, I'm not too sure about tomorrow, just because I'm streaming today on a Sunday. Not usual stream day for me. Also hoping to do another vaccine flight. I really hope we can do a vaccine flight to London. I mean, it is packed usually. 90% of the time I've flown in either Gatwick or wherever else around the London area, it's been absolutely tons and tons of traffic. As you remember from the Blackpool stream, we weren't even in London and we were getting bombarded on the radio by aircraft calls. Be sure as well, if you don't know about the citation, be sure to have the yaw damper on, because you'll find the aircraft a bit uncontrollable without it. Be sure it's switched on. Yeah, thanks for the understanding, Finders, and of course anyone else. Lovely to have you all here and to share this world with you. It's quite exciting, to be honest. Explain in excess of 80 FPS as well. It's a miracle. It is a miracle. The aircraft's not too heavy on the system. Not as heavy as the 737 Zebra mod anyway. Okay, so there's runway 8. Since we're approaching, we'll start to configure the aircraft for landing, so I'll reduce that throttle down, N1 about 50%. Slightly less, and then we start to deploy some flaps. So we're going for a full flap landing. If I keep VNAV on, it's going to follow the FMS, which is same 5,000 all the way to the runway. Not practical, so we want to switch that to altitude. Make sure you switch it to the correct one and reduce it to about 3,000 feet. I should put us on path for the runway. 5 degrees of flaps. Not sure about the speed brake either. I don't really know how to use on this. It doesn't seem to be an auto deployment on it, which is a pain. Okay, we're quite close to the approach. Don't seem to be descending either. flight level change. So I had this issue yesterday. I had to fly it manually to bring it down to the correct level. Let's do vertical speed. There's the runway right ahead. So we're going to stick our landing lights on. Now switch this to navigation for localizer. I hope this works. Bring that speed way back as well. So I'm hoping the localizer will actually be picked up at this distance, because it doesn't seem to be doing it. 08 left, 108.7. We are tuned in. 108.7. Let's give it a little bit longer. We might be a bit too far out for it. Navigation. And gear down. Okay, no 66 just yet on the localizer. And if we have to have it programmed into the co-pilot as well, so 108.7. Let's tune it into him as well so he knows what's going on. I think it's time to fly it manually. The aircraft are a bit all over the place. It's always best to be on the safe side and just can keep the navigation armed if you want. That should give us guidance to the ILS. Now the aircraft does sink quite fast, so you have to keep an eye on the thrust. You see the speed there is very, very low. Gusting, dropping down to 129, which is below recommended landing speed. I'm going to boost that up to about 60. Yeah, it's strange about the ILS. Usually it would line up on the ADI. FMS has, localizer hasn't. Localizer's on there. Turn a bit more to the left, we might be off course. Landing lights are on, flaps set. You can put the passenger seatbelt signs on.
1,000, light slow.
Okay, the light slope warning because we're below it. Let's go ahead and just maintain the current altitude. Okay, so the ILS is not appearing. We have a green arrow rather than a pink diamond. Slightly different there on the design. The localizer arrow is not even pointing in the correct direction. We'll have to double check. I'll have to double check that after I have used it successfully. The approach is actually looking pretty good at the moment. Got two public lights, two red and white.
500. 400. 300.
Okay, slightly higher. Use that
200.
thrust. Very fast aircraft. Extremely fast.
100. 50. 40. 30.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and reduce the thrust.
10.
Okay. Push down. Keep that nose down. Keep the reverse thrust up. Very fast, like I say, and even when you do the reverse thrust, it stops in a matter of moments. It's brilliant. It really is. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport. Okay, we got an issue with the thrust. Thrust is going off the off on its own. Okay, taxi in. Good landing. It looks rough at the end because of the G-force effect from the pilot, and also because the controls are very, very sensitive. Not making excuses, it's just the aircraft itself. It's very, very sensitive to input, so any little movement makes it look like a dramatic change. But of course the pitch on the end there was quite high, so it makes it look like we're bouncing all over the place. Awesome. Go ahead and taxi to a nice stand, see what we got in Charles de Gaulle Airport. So we don't want a terminal, don't want a jetway, we want a nice little parking, so we can go to Papatu there and see if there's a space. It's just on our left. Ah, merci beaucoup. Merci, thank you, find us. I hope everyone else watching this replay is going to praise that landing. Quite good actually, I'm quite impressed for a manual landing. Okay, that's all airliners. On the left, let's go ahead and keep going round, we might find something else. You see there the rudder's popped up because the yaw damper's not on. As long as the yaw damper's on, it will turn off. We don't need it on the ground. I'm going to double check the navigation. I did have it successfully working last night in Nice. It lined up with a localizer. It's got to be something down here with a switch. Perhaps you have to slap it selected onto it for it to actually work. I'm gonna have to double check that. Huge drop in frame rates in this area. Don't know if it's because I'm zoomed in or not. Zoom out and it seems to increase again, and zoom in seems to drop, so that's peculiar. You'd think zooming in would actually increase the frame rate. Okay, we got Air France there. We got a nice little space at the end. Not quite what we was hoping for. Of course, some more there with Air France and EasyJet. Yeah, we're kind of hoping for a bit more of a smaller, discreet parking, but we'll have to go to the terminal. Okay, that space is blocked off. I'm going to go ahead and park there anyway, and then let the passengers walk the rest of the way. Let's go ahead and disengage the engines. So shut these off. Drag them to the closed position and shut them off. As so, since we're doing a full shutdown, I'm going to turn all the lights off. You see the yoke there returning to its sort of natural position, so there's no input, there will be no input from me in a second, because it won't work. Don't need the APU to come on, we can turn the bleed air off. All of this goes off. Absolutely everything. Ignition, ICAS, generators, fuel boosts, I appreciate you joining this flight, and thank you for flying with November 750 X-Ray Papa XP Jet, X-Plane Jet. Just about the best jet on the game, I think, in terms of luxury. Definitely one of the better designed planes in the game. Highly recommend it for a flight, short one or a long one. If you can get the FMC to work, it's a bit temperamental. It is a beautiful airplane, it really is. I should do a longer flight in this, because this is it's got the capability to fly for at least 3 or 4 hours. It does burn a lot of fuel though. It's almost like a Lamborghini in that sense. It's expensive, it's fast, and it burns a lot. So it's very expensive, but worth it if you have a nice corporate jet like that. So thank you very much, and of course find us. Appreciate you being here as usual. Have a fantastic evening, and I'll see you on the next stream, probably on Wednesday. Take care.